Adrienne, and welcome back to my kitchen for a new dessert devotion. I can't wait to share with you an easy dessert recipe and an inspiring devotion. Our featured recipe is what I like to call a shortcut chocolate cake. This is a semi-homemade chocolate cake. We're going to start by beating 4 eggs, adding a 3/4 cup of oil, and chocolate cake mix. That way there's no sifting and measuring. We're just going to blend this all together. And then of course, the secret ingredient that makes it really moist is adding a cup of sour cream. It really gives it that homemade flavor. You'll notice when you're making this batter, which I'm going to blend for 1 to 2 minutes until it just comes together, is that it's a little thicker than cake mix, and so you'll have a texture that's closer to a homemade chocolate cake. Of course, I'm going to grease my pan with my favorite, Baker's Joy, and then I'm going to place this in the oven on 350. These baked pretty fast in a 9x13 pan. I would say try 20 to 22 minutes. You certainly don't want to overbake it. Now that our cakes are in the oven, let us settle in for a time of devotion. I want to read to you from the Gospel of Matthew. We're going to start in the 5th chapter, verses 14 through 16, where it reads, "You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under a bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." I know many years ago there was a popular TV commercial where it said, "You never get a second chance to make a first impression." And I wonder, what is the first impression that people often have about you? What are some of the qualities that people first pick up on when they meet you? Is it maybe that you have a positive personality, or maybe you have a wicked sense of humor? Maybe they notice right away that you are a snazzy dresser, that you stay up on all the trends. Maybe they notice that you're really talkative or that you're really shy. Maybe they begin to pick up on the things that are important to you, like your family or your favorite sports, or that you have the same hometown. But do they pick up on the light of Christ? Do they pick up on your faith? Do they know immediately, like, there's something different about this person? Or if they are a believer, do they immediately recognize that you are also a believer in Jesus Christ? How much does our light shine? Well, how do people see that light? Maybe it's the way that we carry ourselves. Maybe it's, when we just have our conversation. Maybe it's the words that we use, the language that we choose. Maybe it's how we treat each other that stands out as the light of Christ, that people begin to notice very quickly that we are different. But you know what? People also see the light of Christ in what we share. I think so often as believers, maybe it's because we're so used to the practices, or we're so used to God being awesome, that when things happen to us, when we experience the love of Christ ourselves, we tend to kind of like experience that moment, but do we treasure it up and then share that light with others? A lot of times the way that we share the light of Christ is by telling other people with our words, sharing our experiences, sharing our stories of what God has done for us. I know as a mom, I discover hidden treasures all the time. All I have to do is a load of laundry, and I discover little rocks from my kids hidden in their pockets, little toys they've squirreled away, maybe a little piece of candy that they've won at school as a prize. I have to be really careful, I might pull back a bedspread and discover a rock or something they've collected from outside. They love to squirrel away little treasures or even little snacks under their beds. But we don't think about the light of Christ as being a hidden treasure. The things that happen to you throughout the day when you see God working, those shouldn't be things that you squirrel away and hide away as treasures. But instead, when you know that God has blessed you, share that with someone. When you have an awesome worship experience, why not share that with your coworkers and then say, next time you've got to come with me, right? To experience that with me. When we see that God has moved or healed or helped us or turned things around for us, we don't squirrel away those moments to cherish and keep to ourselves. We don't put them away in a bushel basket and store it away just for us to enjoy. But the light of Christ, what God is doing in us and through us, is meant to be shared with the world. So this week, as things happen to you, as you see God moving, it's great to give God thanks, to journal about it, to ponder it in your heart. But don't let it be a hidden treasure. Be sure to share that light of Christ with the world. And we are certainly going to share this treasure of a chocolate cake. That was way too easy. I was really short on time because I had just gotten in town and my son wanted a homemade birthday cake and he wanted it shaped like a robot. So now I'm going to show you how I took this chocolate cake and transformed it into a really fun and really blue robot cake. This one was a really fun one to make because since the cake was so easy, I had time to, figure out how to cut the pieces and turn it into a robot. I just kind of used wax paper as a template and just went for it. I have store-bought chocolate icing as my middle layer. And then the fun part was I baked an additional 9x13 chocolate cake and used that same kind of template to make my robot twice as high. It was going to a birthday party, so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of cake. I used a giant pizza spatula to get the cake positioned, and then I was ready to rock and roll with the icing. After I finished covering the cake with my cream cheese blue icing, I added another layer with a star tip of icing, lots of candy and imagination, and voila! We were ready for a robot birthday party. Our best treasures are the ones that we share with others. And remember, that includes the light of Christ. Thanks for joining me for Dessert Devotion. You can check out more devotionals on my website at DessertDevotion.com.